Ladies and gentlemen, the EE Powertalk episode 38. My name is Daddy Blessing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 38 of the EE Powertalk. My name is Elvis.
Yeah, and in this particular episode, we are talking about the power of discipline.
Leo tunaongea about discipline.
Yeah.
Mkiwa high school kulikuwa na mtu alikuwa anaitwa discipline master.
Yeah, discipline master. It was most of the time the deputy nini.
Me, I used to think discipline ni vita. But I've just, after becoming an adult, I've realized that discipline is something else.
I have my personal definition of what discipline is. And I define discipline as consistency despite the mood.
Consistency despite the mood. Very nice. Mimi wacha nikusomee.
Yeah.
Leo I had to do proper research.
Yeah.
Discipline is the ability to stick with tasks and goals consistently, regardless of circumstances or motivation. It is about setting a course and following it with commitment.
Yeah.
You cannot lose weight by chanting and screaming that kesho naenda gym. Kesho. By the way, do you know someone who talks a lot rarely does?
There's someone who said, let me to cut you short. There's someone who said you cannot manifest losing weight.
You aren't aware, you cannot speak in tongues.
I manifest, I affirm, I lose weight every day.
But have you seen these TikTok videos of people who are like, they are affirming things about what they're going to do in future, but they don't put in the work. But then most of us lack discipline.
Sure.
Discipline is one of the things that we lack a lot. There's also motivation. What do you think motivation is?
Motivation is that immediate burst of energy that cannot be attributed to anything. That drive to it's a burst that is unsustainable in the first place, and it doesn't come out of a generated routine. It's just a momentarily. Is that okay? It's something for a moment.
For a moment,
you can't sustain, and you can't hold for long. It eventually fades away. That motivation, because again, when that reason is over,
I tend to think motivation itself is moody and emotional.
Yeah, sure.
You're motivated because you're feeling
some type of way.
Have you ever seen after umewatch video fulani you've watched a video on how you should lose weight, the way you should go to the gym, kwanza hizi videos are masculinity. As a man, you should not tolerate this. Unakuwa motivated, all psyched up.
Kesho unaamkia gym.
After umeinua mawe siku 2-3 unasikia kama Andrew Tate.
Kama Andrew Tate alikuwa ananichocha wewe.
You see, that's motivation itself. Kuna mtu alikuwa anasema motivation inaingianga hapa, inaprocessiwa, inatokea hapa. And you see, I think in life what you need is discipline, because discipline, it builds resilience.
Yes.
It helps you overcome challenges. It leads to lasting achievements. And it is a key to sustainable growth and progress in your life. Because despite something becoming so uncomfortable, you have to do it. And I tend to think that people have to take this chance to think about being disciplined and less motivated. An example is when you're heartbroken. All right? Do you think motivation is going to make you feel better?
No.
It is discipline.
It is discipline that will help you overcome that whole thing.
The first time niligongwa vizuri proper. Niliendanga TikTok. On my watch hizi videos are heartbreak. Oh, she didn't deserve you. She didn't. She just
she's the one who has lost.
She's the one who has lost. Or either inakuwa like sasa mademu, he is the one. That thing is going to make you feel but it doesn't last.
It doesn't last for long.
Until I started going to the gym. Nikanote, but hii kitu nikienda daily kuna venye na feel fiti. Discipline to do something uncomfortable, something that you don't like, something that you find is hard to do. Like for example, do you know how healing from heartbreak most of the time requires for you to be disciplined. Disciplined in the sense that unajua ukienda kuangalia profile picture ya huo mtu wako itakugonga trigger, but unasema hapana, I will not do it.
I like to classify motivation is the beta X and discipline is your true love.
Is a future, is a new.
Discipline is your true love.
Yeah.
Motivation is the beta X. What a beta X does,
Mhm.
they keep on resonating on the good things that you had
Mm.
and why you fumbled.
Yes.
Yeah, because when the motivation is done,
Mm.
you will always look back and see the reason why the motivation died.
Mhm.
You understand? But when discipline is here, discipline will always be like, hey, wait. Excuse me. We are me and you forever and ever. You signed up for this.
Mm.
We are going to do it.
Mm.
So, as opposed to being motivated or being thrown incentives so that you can do something, habits, routines, and procedures, those are what drives discipline. Being disciplined in a certain thing is what sets you apart from other people, because there are people, let's say when we started the podcast, there are people who went and started theirs,
of course,
because they have been motivated to start, because okay, Elvis na Daddy Belsi wameanza, sasa sisi tuende tuanze.
Iko nini? Kwani si ni kushoot tu?
Si ni kushoot tu. Sisi, we are being driven by discipline. Yeah, we are producing an episode each and every day of the week. For them, they can't, unfortunately, maybe because of financial constraints or being not able to produce as fast. But the discipline we have is what is setting us apart from them. Now, ile motivation yao, they admired us, they saw we started and we motivated them to start. But now ile speed tumemove nayo, hey, your motivation yao ni kama hey.
By the way, exactly. Speaking on that perspective, by the way.
Yes.
Motivation is a drug and it is highly addictive.
Yeah.
In fact, I tell people, by the way,
yeah,
acha kuja kuniambia that I motivate you. Don't be motivated. Be motivated,
yes,
but be disciplined enough to do what you're supposed to do for your life.
Yes.
There's a difference between let me read this, because I actually thought it's necessary for us to speak about discipline and motivation and demystify it properly. Now, I want you to judge. Wewe ndio utakuwa judge. Differences between motivation and discipline. Motivation is short-term and situational.
Yeah.
And it is often sparked by external rewards or inspiration.
Yeah.
Number 2, motivation helps us to get started, but fades quickly without reinforcement.
Yes.
The reinforcement being discipline.
Discipline, yeah.
Now, what is discipline? Discipline itself being different from motivation. Discipline is a long-term internal drive that drives consistency through habits and routines.
Yeah.
Discipline builds a foundation for lasting success by making tasks part of daily life, regardless of mood or external factors.
I'll put it in a very short and precise manner. Motivation is purely emotional. How you feel about something. It's how you feel about something right now and right here. Discipline, on the other hand, it's logic. I don't feel like waking up, but the logical thing to do is to wake up and go do that thing, because it has to be done.
It has to be done.
So it doesn't matter how I'm feeling. Discipline dictates, go do it. Motivation, on the other hand, I'm not feeling like, so I won't do it. Or I'm feeling like it, it's time to go. Many other times, you don't feel like doing something. There was a time, one of our episodes delayed for a while. And it was that I was so tired. Nilikuwa nafika home, I think 6 jioni. And I haven't edited that episode. That was to go live at 7:30. It doesn't matter if you're a magician or you're not. There is no way you can accomplish editing a full episode within that time. Upload it, then it premieres at 7:30. I wasn't feeling like it. Even I was trying to draft a good post, a good message to our audience. Today we are not going to have that episode. But discipline said the logical thing to do is edit it, post 1 hour later.
And do that thing that you're not comfortable doing at the moment.
Because I wasn't comfortable doing it. I wasn't comfortable editing. I wasn't comfortable at all pushing myself to the limits, because about nilikuwa nimetoka job, by the way. I wasn't comfortable, telling people that wait kidogo, there's some technical things we are working on. The episode will be up. I wasn't comfortable with that. But, you must stand in business. It was much easier for us to write a very good message and post to our audience. Apologetic message. Yes. Yeah. Regards, the EE Powertalk team.
There's a statement I like, and I like having it in my head.
Yes.
It says that motivation inspires at first.
Yes.
But expires very fast.
That is so true.
At first, it inspires you.
Yes. Then the expiry date
very fast.
Immediately.
Let me take you back to high school kidogo. When there was this motivational speaker, alikuwa anakuja anasema nipatieni maji. They've come dressed in a suit. They've come to psych you up, to motivate you, to make you jump up. By the time that guy starts speaking, unasikia, I am ready. I have changed my life.
Yes.
Akitoka kesho yake unasema,
zile video msi alikuwa anasema si realistic.
Jamaa si alibonga sana, alibonga. Then there is someone who says, let me be disciplined enough. This person told me something. Yeah. I don't want to be taking this motivation so much. But then, motivation is highly addictive.
Yeah, it is.
Have you ever seen people who are all the time anasikiza podcast? Kimuuliza, bro, kwani unasikizanga podcast hadi kwa gym, hadi kwa matatu? They are addicted to that motivation. But they don't do the work.
Yeah.
Because discipline is something hard for them. So motivation to them is very inspiring at first.
Yeah.
But the expiry date and the expiry period
very quick.
Mbio sana.
Kitu ina slap, you're like, okay, I thought this energy was to continue. I thought hii kitu ilikuwa bring out I had envisioned all this thing. Like what motivation does, it creates a mini dream that is unachievable. So now, what discipline on the other hand does, it helps you generate habits and realistic goals. And that's one of the very important points when it comes to helping you build discipline. Set realistic goals. Yeah. I want to gain abs and muscles and look good for me. What do? I set a goal. Abs. Na unaziandika. Abs. Nataka kifua.
Kifua noma sana.
Kifua ambayo nitakuwa nikifunga shati hivi nikifanya hivi inararuka. That's a goal. Is it realistic? Yes. Will it take time to attain? Yes. What do I need? Habits, pattern, schedule, and doing. That's all what discipline is. You wake up one day, you feel like, leo nayo, si feel. Lakini ukikumbuka, I want nikitaka tu, nikifanya tu hivi kifua inafunguka. You don't ask or think twice about that. Because there is a goal, a smart one, and we said, you set smart goals.
You need to set smart goals, yeah?
Yeah. A goals that you can sustain. Then it is very impossible or very hard to build discipline on an unrealistic goal. People have to realize that. In as much as you want to build discipline and you are capable, we believe in you. Actually, me personally, I believe in you so much. Look at me in the eyes. I believe in you. But don't set an unrealistic goal. Because it will be very hard to build a sustainable discipline or pattern or habit to achieve that thing.
Exactly. That's very, very nice. That's a nice illustration generally. But let me move on to the next part, which is the science behind discipline.
Yeah.
And I want to just inaitangwa grapple, is it inaitangwa aje with your mind, sijui what. I want to jog your mind or juggle your mind.
Juggle, yeah.
There is what we refer to as the brain and habits.
Yes.
And there is number 2, we have delayed gratification. The brain and habits. Let me read this for you.
Yes.
The brain is wired to form habits through repetition. Right?
Yeah.
The more we often repeat a task, the easier it becomes over time. By practicing discipline on a regular basis, certain actions become automatic, reducing mental effort. When we create habits, like exercising every morning or reading before bed, these actions become ingrained, requiring less motivation to complete. And you see, at the end of it all,
Mm.
I tend to think people have to be very intricate and careful about the habits they form.
Yeah.
You know, learning a skill is not so comfortable.
Yeah, it's not. It robs you time, by the way.
Exactly.
It robs you comfort, and also robs you of the relaxing, the feel good moment.
The feel good moments.
Yeah.
The brain, you know, our brains are funny.
Yeah.
They're actually a funny part of our bodies because your brain is going to do what you tell it to do.
Yeah, sure.
We'll come to instant gratification. Why do you think it's easy for someone to sit down and masturbate as compared to sit down and learn a skill?
Because of that instant gratification.
But people have never normalized delayed gratification. Delayed gratification, let me get to this before we discuss all this. Delayed gratification is the ability to forego immediate pleasure for long-term gains.
Yes.
Studies like the famous marshmallow test show that people who can delay gratification tend to achieve higher levels of success.
Yeah.
Practicing discipline strengthens this ability, delayed gratification, helping people make choices that benefit them in the long run, rather than opting for quick fixes or temporary pleasures. The science behind discipline, we speak about it, the brain and habits and delayed gratification.
Yes.
The more you do something on a consistent basis,
Yeah.
like bro, kasa hivi venye tumeshoot podcast, inafikanga Tuesday nikiwa najua kichwa yangu
Tuko set. Yeah.
You get? It also started like, you see, learning a skill. I tell people that if you want to learn something, you have to be willing to do it every day. Na tia tinafika Saturday unasema let me skip.
Yeah.
You have to do it. I have this client of mine, runs a garage. I started writing blogs for the client. Any day, like alikuwa ameniambia niwe naandika Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
So you see, Saturday na Sunday, I should not be writing blogs. Then I realized that anytime nikiacha kupost on Saturday and Sunday, Monday sijifeel kunini.
Yeah.
So I had to start doing it on Saturday and on Sunday. And surprisingly, I formed that habit. So such that in my head, I know that I should write a blog.
Yeah.
It's the same case like that example I've given you on reading a book before you go to bed. The more you consistently do that habit, the more you wire your brain that this is something that you should be doing.
Yes.
It creates discipline. Delayed gratification, instant results. Umeanza podcast jana unataka ikuwe na 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, na views.
Na
monetize na ulipwe.
Highly successful people know how to delay gratification.
Yeah.
And that is why tunawashangwa. Jumse, you're so used to making money so fast online that you think that every investment that comes your way, wekelea pesa. Yeah. Watu wameoshwa na zijui Mara Digital Holdings, wakaoshwa na BTCM. I mean, all these are scams that led to people losing millions of money.
Yes.
But what were they looking for? Instant gratification. You know, I might, let me divulge kidogo, but people also get into relationships seeking instant gratification.
Yeah. The feel good moments.
But if you can delay that gratification, why do you think nowadays relationships are failing?
Because you see, the motivation dies. Yeah. You know, the motivation inspired you to get into a relationship. Then it immediately expired.
And discipline, by the way, discipline is one of it. Like you see the discipline to sit down, like you have a wife and you have trouble, the discipline to have a conversation with her if you have a problem.
Yes.
That is something most people don't want.
Sure.
And you see, by the time una hit 50, if you've not been able to be that disciplined, nothing is going to work for you.
Absolutely.
And that's the reason as to why that's something else. So I want you to tell us just brain and habits and delayed gratification.
I want to tackle on the delayed gratification because discipline is not always about how well you do things. It is also how well you've trained your brain not to do some things. Discipline is not always in the doing. Sometimes, and most of the times,
it's not doing.
Yes, discipline is in not doing. When you have a certain form of addiction, you have to be disciplined so that when the triggers come, you won't be triggered very easily. Triggers and motivation, same or subgroup. A motivation triggers an action, and an action can be a form of a discipline that you have, or an indiscipline that you have. Any action that you do can be indiscipline or disciplined. It cannot coexist. Hii njia ni one way. Hakuna njia ya kurudi hivi.
Hakuna njia ya kurudi.
Ukifika katikati unapiga U-turn unarudi. No. Ukichukua ni indiscipline until you realize how indisciplined you are. If it is disciplined, it is disciplined until you see the fruits of discipline. All right? When it comes to habits in your brain, you have those patterns that you have developed in your brain. It doesn't matter what kind of motivation comes. It is very, very impossible to trigger someone who has a pattern. I wake up in the morning, I check my inventory if I'm selling something, if I'm selling a course, if I'm doing anything, I check my students, I see the progress. That's a habit I've developed. There is no way nitaamuka siku moja, I quit now checking at my students, then I replace that thing with some sort of motivation yenye nimepata mahali ya kufanya. No, that's not the time for me to go and try Figma now. That's my time to check what are my students doing. How is the performance? If I wake up every morning, I go to the gym. Then after going to the gym, I come back, prepare myself, enter to the office, do some client work, then later I can have some free time. That's a discipline that has been formed through habits and how I have trained my brain. I can't just wake up because leo nimeamka nikisikia kujaribu kitu ingine yenye iko kwa WordPress. So hii time ya kwenda gym, wacha nijaribu hii kitu yenye iko kwa WordPress. Nitajaribu nione kama nitafix hii time ya kwenda gym, ni fix na client work. Something will suffer, you know. And once some of your habits start suffering, it's a direct signal of how indisciplined you are. And the reason why many people sugarcoat these things is because discipline is not a comfortable thing.
It's not actually it's not. Honestly, it's not something comfortable.
Yeah. Being disciplined to an extent of saying no to some things is not a very comfortable thing. Sometimes we just want to obey our bodies, feel nice, feel good. Elvis, unataka twende road trip lini? Nitaweka gari mafuta. But wewe hizo pesa uko nazo za kuweka mafuta, fanya kitu kingine, mimi siendi mahali. But deep down unasema haki ya nani? Nataka kwenda hiyo road trip. But nikienda hiyo road trip, kuna client ataumia.
Biashara itaumia.
Yeah. Biashara itaumia. I have a class I'm teaching, like right now you're teaching Canva classes. By the way, you should join Canva. The Nini is closed, or
they can join. You can join. You know, we are recording the classes. Yeah,
you can join the Canva classes. By the way, learn after the Nini. It's not a must you learn with the people that are in the class. You can learn after, so join the classes.
Yes, we
shall leave the link in the description so that you can join the classes.
Exactly. Areas where discipline overrides motivation. Wacha nikupatie. Number 1, health and fitness.
Absolutely.
Kwanza hii najua uko na pointers. Maintaining a regular exercise or a healthy diet requires discipline.
Yes.
Motivation alone is not enough. Discipline requires for you to be very consistent, leading to long-term physical health and fitness improvements.
Let me give you an example. When you go to the hospital, the doctor writes 1 times 3. He doesn't write drink when you're motivated.
One time.
No, he doesn't write drink when you're motivated. He says take this tablet 1 times 3. That's a discipline. When it comes to health and fitness, if you want to lose weight, you don't go to the gym when you're motivated. Ati leo nimeamka na mahanjam, let me go to the gym. You go to the gym for one sole reason: I want to lose weight. Nataka ku lose weight. So there, motivation cannot work. Whether you're motivated or you're not. Leg day is leg day. Why are you missing leg day? Do you really want to lose weight? Yeah?
You have to be very motivated to do it.
Yes. And because you don't want us to call you Kanono, at least for me, I can call you Kanono when I see you're fattening. You know, some people you can't. They have feelings out here.
People don't like the truth.
They don't like the truth.
They want you to tell them they're body positive. Now,
let me tell you something. If you've told me you are going to the gym, and the sole purpose for you not to go to the gym is because how feel kwenda. Now ulikuwa umeniambia you're going to the gym because you need to lose some weight.
Mm.
Ai nitakuita Kanono until uende.
Mm.
Hey Kanono bado huko? Ongeza weight ingine. Leo umeongeza kilo yenye uliruse jana. I will troll you until you go back. At least that's what I do with my friends. You know, me Elvis Uki. If you miss gym, my friend, and the sole purpose for you to go to the gym was losing weight. Next episode.
By the way, you know, it's also important for people to understand that
yes.
you don't lose weight by motivation. You lose weight with discipline.
Yes.
Unaonanga dem amekuja gym the first day, ndio kwa kio ana confirm kama the bum
kama
imegrow. They even putting pressure on the trainer. Hey,
yeah.
Brother, kwani nini? Na venye nafanya hizi glutes na venye without discipline is not going to come.
Jipe miezi 3.
And then it's funny that unaenda unakuta dema ushago. Hafanyangi tizi at all.
Ni jembe tu.
Lakini glutes. Uzuri ni ati yako discipline kugonga jembe, right? And it's funny. Have you ever noted that those people who have no interest in it?
Yes.
Unakuta jamaa western kazi yake tu ni kuvua fish. The guy is ripped bana. So jacked. And then unakuta mzee mimi huku nimejaribu creatine, nimekunywa malt. Naenda hadi naambia trainer, bro, is it possible saa 6 usiku tuingie? You get?
Yes.
But let me probably for the purposes of time, career and skills.
Yes.
Learning a new skill, advancing in a new career, or building a business,
yes.
all depend on a regular, disciplined effort.
Yes.
Motivation might get you started, but discipline helps you to keep going, especially when challenges arise. Unafungua biashara. You know, my first business I started, nilikuwa nafikiria hiyo cyber cafe itanitengenezea 6,000 per day. Siku ya kwanza nilienda na 20 bob.
Ya photocopy.
20 bob hata huna fare. Hata nyanya unanunua zijui 3. Una mayai.
My lord.
But you see, people quit instantly without waiting to see where this would have taken them.
Sure.
Learning a skill. Ukiketi ujifunze video editing for a full month. If you went and learned something like video editing for a full month extensively,
yes,
utakuwa mbele. But how many people are willing and ready? How many people are willing and ready to put in the effort to learn that skill consistently for an entire month? Very few people.
Sure.
And that's why for me I say that it's important for you to remember that discipline overrides motivation when it comes to career and skills.
Yes.
Personal goals. Hii nataka umalizie nayo. Achieving goals like saving money,
yes,
improving personal habits,
yes,
or working on a hobby requires ongoing effort.
Yes.
Discipline helps maintain focus on these goals over time, enabling real progress.
So now, let's say unataka kuhama. Unataka kuhamia 1 bedroom. And you know why? Unataka kuhamia 1 bedroom. Kwa sababu uko maybe kwa bed sitter ama maybe uko kwa single room. You just don't wake up one day because you're feeling motivated. Unaweka so moja kwa savings na unaweka hiyo goal kuhama. Tomorrow you don't feel like it. Sasa unakula hiyo so.
Unakula hiyo so unasema next week.
Hata nimeona hii space ni kama naweza survive nayo kidogo. You wake up one day. You decide I'm starting a goal in your savings bank of choice. Lock that money. Give yourself 3 months. I'm saving until nipata 50,000 za kuhama ama 100,000 za kuhama, and I will be putting 250 shillings each and every day without fail. Now that's discipline. Na unaeka alarm ikifika masaa fulani na kukumbusha leo huja save. That's discipline. Career. You don't go to work because you're feeling like going to work. You have to go to work because your dreams depends on it. Your survival as a person depends on it. Money, monetary value depends on it. And you as a person, your growth depends on it. You can't postpone your career depending on how you're feeling. There are some things, feelings and motivations don't apply. You know? We cannot be empathetic with you because you failed to do something that you are supposed to do. We shall come and question why you failed to do that
Why
thing.
didn't you do it? Yeah.
Why didn't you do it? I was feeling like you are. Who told you we are feeling better ourselves? You know, do that thing. Then come later tell us this was the trouble that I was undergoing, despite the fact that I finished the task. We shall see how strong you are as a person and how disciplined you are as a person. That's how people get appreciated, by the way, in their careers. Seeing how, despite everything that Elvis was going through, he stayed consistent and disciplined, and he delivered even way beyond what other people expected. You know, many people, when they want maybe to get favors in their workplaces and all that, is to, you know, show how much they are not motivated. You know, and ask for a salary days to motivate me. That salary days will feel good for the first 2 to 3 months. You'll want another salary days so that you feel better.
That you feel better.
Yeah. But if you're focused on the overall win of the company, discipline is what will be driving you to deliver. The salary days will be as a result of discipline, not as a result. No, it will not come as a motivation. It will come as a result of discipline.
Of course.
Yeah.
I like that whole perspective and thinking process. Yeah. Where you have personal goals but you keep unamfanya vitu tu hazieleweki. I want. But anyway, how to build discipline? Basically, how can someone actually get to build discipline? For me, I'll say this. First thing is set small goals.
Yes.
Unataka kuhama nyumba, uko bed sitter, single room. Unataka kuhamia 5 bedroom.
Yes.
Why don't you start with bed sitter? People don't like that.
Unataka kuhamia 5 bedroom na ukuwe na gari na watoto wawili na bibi.
Watoto wawili in 3 months. How will you do all that? Set some small goals.
Yeah.
Manageable goals that allow you to build momentum. All right? Like if you're starting kuanza kwenda gym. Acha, if unajua wewe ni mnono.
Yeah.
First things first is to understand. You nono itaisha aje.
Yes.
Wezi amka na biceps the following day.
Yeah.
You know, there are guys people don't believe that you can go to the gym for 3 years without any change. Mwaka ya 4 ndo unaona.
You're like, okay.
Mi kwanza nikianza kwenda gym. Bro, you know, kwanza kuna hii bench press.
Yeah.
Nilikuwa naekewa 5. You mikono
inatetemeka.
Nowadays at least I can push myself through. You see, I also tend to think that people need to create routines where they are actually able to form regular habits.
Yes.
A routine. Something that is going to be part of your day, like reading, writing, journaling.
Yes.
That's how you create a routine.
Yes.
And for me, I also recommend accountability.
Yeah, sure. Any day.
Be very accountable. Umesema saa 3 utasoma skill? Very nice.
Yes.
Soma skill hiyo saa 3. Umesema before ulale utaoga?
Yes.
Sawa. Umesema before ulale utasoma kitabu? Very nice. Make sure that you hold yourself accountable. If not, get an accountability partner.
Actually, I would advise people, instead of just being accountable alone, get an accountability partner.
Exactly.
That's why we have managers.
I have a lady I recently got as a manager. Not even a manager, just like a personal assistant. Yeah, Buddha, like, you know, having like a PA, especially as a man, is like having a second girlfriend or a second wife. Buddha, this is someone who is trying to, ulifanya hivi. Did you do this?
And they take a lot of load off your shoulders because they leave you with the doing part. I advise you, managers are not expensive as you think. When you hear someone has a manager, don't panic, don't freak out. Oh, hey, now they have a manager. Hey, they must be paying them. I don't know. Get someone, agree on a rate. Management sometimes can be also as a form of service exchange. You're exchanging services. You know, she's managing or he's managing you, and you are doing something else for them. You know, you're building their brand, they are managing you, and vice versa. Also, you can be agreeable to each other on the things that you're doing for each other. You know, you can collaborate. Managers are very, very important, especially if you're in the digital space. Some things, let me tell you, handling alone itakuletea shida, and it will distort you. It will distort your process of creating discipline, and that's the whole thing that we have been talking about here. Hizo zote vitu zote tumekuwa tukimambo here. If you don't have an accountability partner, and if the worst case scenario you're not accountable yourself, tutakuwa tumefanya kazi yenye not so very important.
Yeah, sure. And for me, as I wind up, I'll say this. Discipline is a skill.
Yeah.
Master it.
Sure.
Even ndio nitamalizia. Discipline is a skill.
Yeah.
Master it.
Discipline is not emotional. We do things because they have to be done, not because we want to do them and we feel like doing them. That's the EE Powertalk. See you in the next one. My name is Daddy Blessing.
Motivation will inspire you at first,
Then
but it will expire very fast. My name is Elvis. See you in the next one.